So just getting yourself settled there, just feeling the balance of the body on both sides, feeling the right and the left sides of the spine and the back start to release into the floor beneath you. And just taking a nice deep breath in through the nostrils, opening the mouth and sighing it out. And another big breath in through the nostrils, gathering up any stress or tension in the body, holding the breath, and then opening the mouth and a big sigh to let it all go. And again, a nice big deep breath, opening the mouth and letting it out. And just starting to become aware of the body lying here on the floor. Awareness that it's Saturday morning and you've carved out this next 60 minutes just for yourself. And as we start to turn within, let's just be aware of any sounds outside the room, just noticing what's going on around you, outside of this little bubble that you've prepared for yourself. Just noticing all of the sounds, jumping from sound to sound. And then we'll start to draw that awareness closer into the room, listening to any noises you can hear in the room around you. And perhaps even any sounds from within your own body. Could be tummy rumbles, it could be that you can hear your breath. Awareness of the closest sounds to your body. And letting the sounds go now. Awareness of the body lying against the mat or the carpet. Feeling the touch points. Feeling the touch points of your skin or your head or any part of the body. And perhaps noticing texture. Perhaps even noticing the air against the bare skin. Noticing the temperature. Is it cool or is it warm? Is it still? Or is there a soft breeze coming from somewhere? Awareness of this very moment, lying here on a Saturday morning. And now, without changing anything, noticing the breath at the nostrils. Feeling the soft breeze as we inhale and exhale. And the sensation that creates on the edge of the nostrils. Deep conscious awareness of this very moment and the breath at the nostrils. And now let's move that awareness a little further into the body, noticing the breath at the chest. As we inhale and exhale, noticing the rise and fall of the breath at the chest. And then let's bring that awareness deep into the belly. Notice the breath as it expands and softens the belly, rising a little with each inhalation and softening with each exhalation. Deep awareness of the breath at the belly space. And now I want you to start to take control of that breath. Nice, big, deep, even inhalations in your own time, filling the lungs. And nice, deep, even exhalations, completely emptying the lungs. Breathing through the belly, through the chest, to the upper parts of the lungs, completely filling you with that new energy. And then releasing through the top of the lungs, the chest, the belly, breathing out every last bit of breath before beginning the cycle again. In your own time, long, deep in and long, deep out breaths. Filling the body and the lungs with new, fresh energy. And releasing any stale energy, anything that's stagnant on the out breath. Full, deep inhalations. Full, deep exhalations. Two more rounds. Full inhale and a full exhale. And then just allowing the breath to return to its normal rhythm, its normal state. And just as you lie here in our final moments before moving, just checking in with how you feel. Noticing any physical stresses or pain or tension that you need to work on today. And then a little check-in with the mind. Is it busy making lists of what to do after class? Or is it fairly calm this morning? No judgment, just observing the mind. And finally, checking in with our emotional state this morning. Did we wake up a little grumpy, a little sad, or full of happiness and love, whatever it is for you today? Awareness. And let's wriggle the fingers and toes, starting to bring some movement, gentle movement into the body. And take a nice big stretch, arms above the head, point the toes, long straight spine. And then let's bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little rock from side to side, a little massage of the lower back on the mat. And then any way you'd like to make your way to a seated position, feel free to rock and roll or drop to one side, whatever feels good. Just bring yourself up to a seated position. We'll place the backs of the palms on the knees, palms facing up, thumb and index finger joining together. And gently closing down the eyes. We'll open with 3 rounds of Om. Feel free to join in, or if you'd like to just listen, we'll take a deep breath in together. Om Bhurva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhago Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Just keeping the eyes gently closed, and considering the inspiration for today's class is all about us building strength, but at the same time having softness. This constant idea of having balance. And our opening quote is a beautiful quote from Brené Brown, and it is strong back, soft front, and wild heart. It's all about showing up in our courage and vulnerability whilst being both fierce and kind. Something for us to consider as we work through today's flow and through the weekend ahead. Bring the palms face down onto the knees. Let's just start with a nice gentle roll of the head. So right ear to right shoulder and soft rotation forward. Left ear, left shoulder, and dropping back. Just in your own time, closing down the eyes, allowing yourself to connect in with the physical sensation. Noticing all those little tension points after a night on a pillow. And when you feel ready, gently going back the other way. Starting to release any tension in the neck. Being gentle, being soft with yourself. As we just begin to gently move the body today. And then bringing yourself up to center. We'll bring the fingertips up onto the shoulders. And we want to roll the shoulders. So we'll bring the elbows towards the front. Nice big rotations here. Rolling in one direction again. Feel free to close down the eyes. Awareness of this movement, every aspect of it. Noticing how the shoulder blades draw towards each other on the backward movement. And then when you're ready, let's change direction. Shoulders moving in the sockets. Starting to lubricate through those sockets. Starting to warm up those shoulders. And then let's just drop the fingers down to the knees, and we'll do some seated cat-cows. So forward and back, just keeping yourself seated, drawing the heart forward and then drawing the heart back again. Forward, opening the heart, drawing it back towards the spine. Gentle movement. Adding the breath, in breath on the forward movement, out breath on the backward movement. One more. And then coming back to center, let's do our Sufi rolls. So right shoulder comes forward, comes across the body, and we start to roll the spine. Keep the hands on the knees, use them as some leverage if you need to. Again, closing down the eyes, feeling where you feel this most today, and giving it a little extra care, giving those parts a little extra time, a little extra movement as we start to release any tension. And slowly back the other way. And trying to connect with the breath, keep the breath rhythmic, keep it long, keep it even. And one more nice big roll. And then coming back to center, we'll take the legs out in front of us. We'll just walk the right hand away a little bit and a nice draw that left arm up over. So let's keep the left hip down, The left armpit drawing away from it, creating that space through the side body. Couple of breaths. And then back up to center, onto the other side, walking the left hand away. Both buttocks on the ground. Big side stretch. Great in the mornings. And back up to center. And we'll take both arms around, try and keep the buttocks on the floor, long straight spine, and just lean a little into the right side here. Just a nice gentle twist in the spine. And into the center and over to the other side. Again, feel free to adjust and move a little bit, however you feel you want to, as we start to twist through that spine a little this morning. And back to center. Both hands behind the buttocks. Let's draw the feet in towards the buttocks, and we're going to lift the bottom, so we're coming up into a reverse tabletop here. So it looks like this. We can either just stay looking at the belly, or if you'd like to drop the head back, squeeze the buttocks, lifting the hips up towards the ceiling, opening up through that heart. Keep breathing. And then let's drop the bottom back down to the floor, legs out in front of us. Nice long straight spine, and then slowly start to lean forward. Let's keep the spine long and straight, and then when you reach a point, you can roll the shoulders, draw the head downwards. Feel free to have a little bend in the knees if that feels good. We're just starting to awaken the backs of the legs here. You might like to roll a little from side to side if that feels good in the lower back. Just starting to move a little intuitively, noticing what the body needs today. Remembering to breathe. We're going to hold here for about 30 seconds. So trying to become soft here. We don't have to strain. We don't have to hold on too hard. Try to release a little into this posture. We're working right up the back of the body, from the heels all the way up through the backs of the legs, lengthening through the buttocks, both sides of the spine, starting to elongate that spine. Even following the energy lines down through the arms to the fingertips. A big stretch right through the back body. 2 more breaths here. And then just gently releasing, bringing yourself back upright. We'll come up onto all fours now, so just getting yourself set up, alignment correct, so we want that shoulder stacked over the wrist, nice straight elbows, fingers out nice and wide, middle finger pointing to the top of the mat, hips over the knees, and let's drop into some cat-cow. So we drop the belly, draw the chest and the heart forward here. And then we tuck the tailbone, curve that spine, chin comes into chest. Again, drop the belly, breathing in as we open up through that heart. Breathing out, tuck the tailbone, curving the spine. In your own time, start working through a few rounds of cat-cow. Breathing long and deep. Or if you'd like to put a little more pace in it, feel free to do that too. Responding to what the body needs. Now, if you'd like to, feel free to start moving those hips from this position. You can swing them from side to side. Just any way that feels good. Freestyling, you might like to draw figure eights with them. Again, keep the eyes closed and just move intuitively from this position, this tabletop position. You can combine it with some cat-cows. We're just really starting to awaken that spine. And then when you're ready, just coming back to the center. We'll bring the knees out nice and wide to the outer edges of the mat. The feet come into touch. And we want to draw back, working towards sitting back onto those feet. If you need to take the knees a little wider, feel free to do that. And we'll walk the hands forward ahead of us. Drop the forehead down to the mat. And try to get that sensation of the heart dropping onto the mat. We want that softness in the front. Remember our quote, strong back, soft front, wild heart. And try to find a resting pose here. Pose of the child is one of great surrender. You're welcome to come into this posture at any time. It's a great posture if you're just feeling like you need to turn within. And just awareness of the breath as you lie here. Our hips are slowly opening, softening through the front. Shoulders are extended. We've got 3 more breaths. And then as we start to bring ourselves out of it, just draw ourselves back up onto the knees. Bring the knees back into the center. And we come back to that neutral tabletop position. We're going to just move into some twisting of the spine here. So thread the needle. We'll take the right arm up and opening up through that right side chest, looking up at that right hand. And then we're going to thread it between the left hand and left knee. Just draw the shoulder down, but not actually touching here. And again, right arm up, opening up the chest. Thread the needle and look over the left shoulder here. Again, breathing in as we open, breathing out as we thread the needle, creating a rotation of the spine here. Breathing in, opening up, breathing out. This time we'll place that right shoulder down on the floor, right cheek on the floor if you can get it there. Option to stay exactly here if you'd like a little extra. Push into that left hand and extend the left foot out to the side. A little extra stretch today. Couple of breaths. And then pushing into that left hand again, just to give yourself some balance. Draw that left knee back in and bring yourself back up to the upright position in tabletop. Changing to the other side, this time left arm opens up. We'll thread the needle, twisting through to the right. Left arm open, breathing in, breathing out as we turn to the right. Breathing in, opening up, breathing out, twisting to the right. One more big breath in, opening up. Breathing out, let's place the left shoulder on the ground this time. Option to stay here or press into that right hand and extend the right leg out to the side. The sole of the foot's flat on the floor. And just take a couple of breaths here. Let's push into that right hand, just allowing us to balance as we draw the right knee back in. Keep pushing into that right hand and we'll come back up to tabletop. We're going to make our way now down onto the belly. So just getting yourself centered on your mat. feet are together if that's comfortable for you. And we want to bring the hands to just above the shoulders or just underneath the shoulders, and I want you to come up onto the fingertips. So we're going to come up into a little flow here where we lead with the back, head comes last as we draw up, and then we drop the head back, lead with the heart as we slowly draw ourselves back down to the mat. Pressing into the fingers, we draw up, leading with the back of the heart. We draw the head back, heart comes forward, and we lead with the front of the heart back down. And again, breathing in, drawing up. Heart comes forward, breathing out. One more. Breathing in and breathing out. And let's just come to rest. Place the hands underneath the cheeks here or underneath the forehead. Just allow the back to recalibrate. Allow the spine to realign with the mat and the surface beneath you. When we do these types of back bends, it can sometimes be a little intense. So just allowing rest in between. If you're on one cheek, feel free to swap over to the other cheek in the interest of balance. And as you lie here, just another little check-in with how you're feeling. Really just move through the warm-up, feeling if that movement has already helped you. Does it make you feel a little more mobile, a little better? Just checking in. And then let's bring the hands back to underneath the shoulders, press into them, and we'll bring ourselves back up to tabletop. One more posture before we come to standing. If we're doing a soft heart class, we need to work on our melting heart. So we come from tabletop and we keep our hips aligned above the knees here, but we walk the hands out in front of us and we start to draw that heart down. So we've got our bottom up in the air, our hips are above the knees and the arms are extended, the heart's drawing downwards. It can be a little awkward where you want to put if you can get your chin onto the mat, that's great. If you can get your forehead onto the mat, whatever it is for you, trying to find that sensation of melting heart, the heart's touching the mat if possible. And if that's enough for you, that's fine. Otherwise, you can bring the hands together and draw them up over the head here. We won't be here long. We've got 5 more breaths. And then as we start to press into the hands, use the hands to draw yourself back upright. And we'll keep the knees together, we'll keep the feet together. We're going to come into another version of pose of the child. So we just draw forward over, knees together, draw ourselves forward and the hands touch the feet if possible. The head rolls in and we just really scrunch ourselves up into a little ball. And we're really counterbalancing that last posture, the melting heart. We were bending the upper spine in one direction. And here we allow it to return to its more natural shape. Just a couple of breaths, countering the postures. And then slowly, slowly returning to tabletop. We'll just walk the hands around half a palm's length in front of us, tuck the toes under, and we're going to lift the knees up off the floor. We're going to come up into our first downward dog of the class. So we want to have those hands pushing away from us, elbows long and straight, Spine is long and elongated, hips are drawing up and back. And once we've got all of that stabilized, we'll start to slowly straighten the knees. Ideally, we're drawing the heels down towards the mat. It might be better to walk the dog one heel up, one heel down at a time to begin. Just starting to work through the backs of those legs, opening them up, stretching them. You might like to swivel the hips from side to side if that feels good for you today. A little bit of movement. And then when you feel ready, let's just come into one nice stable downward dog. So hands pushing away on the mat, hips drawing up and back, straightness in the back of the legs if that's possible, and heels drawing down, a really big stretch up the back of the body. Couple of breaths. And then let's come up onto the toes, bring the gaze up towards the hands. So we're looking between the hands, and we're going to start to walk the feet slowly, slowly, slowly up to the top of the mat. And just have them around hip distance apart, knees are bent, hands take hold of opposite elbows. And we're just going to rock from side to side, a little swing from side to side here. Keep those knees bent. We want the chest drawing down onto the thighs. Check that the neck is soft, a little head shake or a yes, no, nod and shake. And swing from side to side. And then let's release the hands to the floor, keep the knees bent, and slowly roll ourselves up to standing. Slowly, slowly, head coming last. And when we arrive, roll the shoulders back. Feel that heart come forward. And just position yourself now at the top of the mat. I'm going to work through some half sun salutes. So just having those feet slightly apart, about hip distance. Hands come together at the heart space. We're going to take a deep breath in, arms up overhead, looking up at the hands. A little curve in the spine if that's available to you. Breathing out, hands come down through the center of the body. Let's bend those knees. Bring the hands down to the floor. Chest is on the thighs and we drop the head down. Breathing in, halfway lift. Straighten the knees. Hands come to shins, long straight spine. And we're parallel to the floor in the upper body. Breathing out, hands come back down to the floor. Bend the knees, chest to the thighs, drop the head. Breathing in, arms up, overhead again, looking up at the hands. Breathing out, hands back to heart. Let's go a few times in flow. Breathing in, arms overhead. Breathing out, forward fold, bend those knees. Breathing in, halfway lift, long straight spine, straight knees. Breathing out, forward fold. Breathing in, arms overhead. Breathing out, hands to prayer. And again, breathing in, arms overhead. Breathing out, forward fold, chest to thighs. Breathing in, halfway lift. Breathing out, forward fold, bend the knees. Breathing in, arms overhead. Breathing out, hands to chest. One more. Breathing in, feel the flow. Connect with the breath. Forward fold. Breathing out. Breathing in, halfway lift. Lose yourself in the flow. Breathing out, forward fold. Breathing in, arms overhead. Breathing out, hands to prayer. Just keep the eyes closed. Checking in with yourself. Feeling the effects of the flow. Feeling the effects of the release of the energy. Feeling the heart start to beat a little faster. Perhaps the body a little warmer. Just being present in this very moment. And then opening up the eyes, we'll flow a little more into a sun salute. So hands still at prayer at the heart. We'll breathe in, arms up overhead. Breathe out, deep forward fold, bend the knees, chest to thighs. Breathing in, halfway lift. Breathing out, hands either side of the feet, and we're going to step the right foot back, drop that right knee, and we want to just raise the heart here. And then we tuck the back toe under, place the hands flat on the floor, and we're going to step that left leg back into plank pose. So straight back into a plank. And then we're going to drop the knees, chest, chin down to the floor. Keep the elbows into the body, flatten out onto the floor. Untuck the toes, press into the hands coming up. And then slowly, slowly lowering the body back down. We'll tuck the toes under, back up into a downward dog. Let's take a moment here. Take a couple of breaths. Now we're going to come up onto the toes, gaze up between the hands, and we're going to step or hop both feet up, or up to the hands. Keep the knees bent, and we're back into our forward fold. Hands on shins, straight legs, halfway lift. Back into our forward fold. Arms up overhead as we breathe in. Hands back to the heart. Moving on to the other side. Arms up overhead. Breathing in. Breathing out, forward fold. Breathing in, halfway lift. Breathing out, forward fold. This time we're going to take that left leg back. Drop the knee. Raise the chest. Tuck the toes. We'll swing that right foot back to meet the left, and we're in a high plank. Breathing out, we drop the knees, chest, chin to the floor. Breathing in, coming up into cobra. Breathing out, lowering the body to the floor. Tuck the toes, up into downward dog. Let's just take a couple of moments here, a couple of breaths. Long, straight arms, straight spine, drawing those hips up and back. And we'll come up onto the toes, gaze up between the hands, step or walk or hop, your feet up to the hands, bend the knees, forward fold, breathing out. Halfway lift, straight spine, breathing in. Breathing out, forward fold. Breathing in, arms up overhead. Breathing out, hands to prayer. Breathing in, arms overhead. Breathing out, forward fold. Breathing in, halfway lift. Breathing out, forward fold. We'll take the right foot back here. So we want to drop that right knee to the ground, and we want to just ensure that that left knee is stacked on top of that foot here. So we've not got an angle, it's fairly well stacked. And we're going to bring the arms up overhead, and we want to drop forward into this hip. So let's drop the shoulders away from the ears, and we're really pushing forward here. So we've got a nice hip flexor happening through this right side here. So just a couple of breaths here. And then we'll bring the hands down to the mat, and we want to heel toe that left foot out to the left side of the mat. So we've walked it out to the side here. So instead of being directly front on, I've moved it out to the side, and the hands come to the inside of your legs. Just going to adjust that camera, sorry. So we've got a nice wide grasshopper sort of pose here. So we can stay here, or if you want to try and come in a little bit deeper, you can come down onto the elbows, or you might like to push that left knee away from you. We're just really starting to open up in the hips here. Couple of breaths. Bring the hands back up to just inside that foot, and we're going to walk the foot back into the center of the mat. We're going to draw the weight of the body back towards that right leg, and the front leg will bring the toes towards us. We're creating a nice big stretch up the front of that leg there. Hope that makes sense. Couple of breaths. And then we're going to walk our weight back over the front of that knee, and we're going to move into pigeon from here. So it's a bit of a tricky transition. So we've got our hands here. We actually want to walk that left foot all the way over to the right hand, and then we drop that knee down towards the left hand. So we're coming into pigeon. Sorry, I feel like the camera angle's not very good. So we've actually got the left knee on the left side of the mat, the left foot towards the right side, the right leg is out behind us, and let's keep that left foot flexed so that we're not hurting the knee here. We've got both hips parallel to the floor, up onto the fingertips. If this is really intense on your knee, please stop and I'll give you an alternative. So up nice and high here, and slowly, slowly bring yourself forward, dropping the chin down onto the floor. If it's too intense, you can come into this one, which I think everyone's got it, but if you haven't, just do that for this one. Just a couple of breaths here, we won't be here long. And then just start to walk yourself back upright. Drop onto that left hip, because it can be fairly intense. It's probably the best way to come out of it. And let's just bring the legs back together. We'll just windscreen wiper here. A little bit of movement through the hips. And then to move on to the other side, we'll just come back into our tabletop position, and then up into our downward dog. This time we're going to take the right leg, so we want to step the right leg forward to between the hand. And then we'll drop that left knee to the ground. We'll bring the arms up overhead. Big hip flexor this time in the other side. Drop those shoulders away from the ears. Feel that heart opening. Feel that left hip really extending. And then we'll bring the hands down either side of the right foot. Bring the right hand inside, and we'll walk that right foot out to the right edge of the mat. So we've now got that more open grasshopper posture. It's hard for me to get a good angle for you. And then again, feel free to bring either the elbows down, or if you want to use that right hand to push away, you can roll the foot onto the side if that feels good. Just trying to open through that right hip a little. And then slowly bring that foot back in between the hands. And we're going to do that same awkward transition into pigeon. So we walk the foot over to the left side of the mat, drop the right knee, flexed foot, long hands, and then start arms and start to walk yourself forward. Sorry, it's all very awkward transitions, but I think everyone knows where we're trying to get to. And then soften into pigeon if you can. Couple of breaths. Come up onto the hands. And I did forget something, so we're going to have to come back up onto that foot. So bring the right leg out in front of us. Sorry, I know this is a very awkward transition, but I forgot to stretch the back of this one. We want to bring the body weight back on that left leg. Right leg's extended in front of us. Toes are drawing in towards us. Nice big stretch up the back of that right leg. Couple of breaths. And then slowly, slowly coming to a seated position. And let's just windscreen wiper again. Left leg out in front, right foot comes into the inside of that left thigh. Nice long straight spine, and we just want to start to walk ourselves forward over that left leg. Or allow the spine to round a little. Shoulders can draw forward, head can draw down towards the knee. Turning inwards here. Starting to feel some of that softness. Three more breaths. And then slowly release, coming back upright. We're going to open that left leg out to the side. Just readjust that right foot to be snuggled into that left thigh there. And we'll take the left hand on the inside of the leg, and we want to draw that right arm up and over. So the idea is the heart and the front of the body is actually turning towards the front of the room. So we're not over the leg like this. We're turning, and you'll feel a really deep stretch down this right side. So we've just got a left hand on the inside of the thigh, right arm up and over. Couple of breaths. And then draw the right hand back up, placing it down on the floor, and we'll cross over to the other side. This time right leg's out in front, left foot is tucked into that inside of the thigh. Long straight spine before we walk our way forward. Draw the chest and the heart forward before we roll and round ourselves down towards that leg. Couple more breaths. Gently releasing, bringing yourself back upright, taking that right leg out to the side, adjusting the left foot on the inside. And this time the right arm comes down the inside of that right leg. Left arm up and over. We're just opening up through that chest, looking a little bit up towards the ceiling. Feeling that big stretch through the left side. Four more breaths. And coming back up to center. We'll bring both legs out nice and wide here. Long straight spine, and just start to walk our way forward. If you can, bring the lower arms down to the floor. Option for palms up or palms down, whatever feels good for you. And again, just trying to find a little softness here. Really, really extending through the muscles on the inside edges of the legs. It's great to aid detoxification. Keep things moving in the body. Just finding softness in the spine. 4 more breaths. And then just gently walking yourself back upright. You're going to come down onto the back. So just finding yourself a centered position. We'll keep the soles of the feet up towards the buttocks here. And they're just about hip distance apart. Bring the arms out nice and wide here in a T shape, so just opposite the shoulders. And we'll just bring that right knee and cross it over the left knee, almost like you're sitting on a stool. We're going to drop both knees to the left side, and we're going to turn and look to the right side. If you'd like a little extra leverage or a little extra stretch, you can take that left hand and place it on top of the knee. And again, we just want to try to find a little softness here. It's quite an intense twisting in the spine, so don't overdo it. The top of the body, we feel that heart space opening as we turn and look over to the right. We've been strengthening the back, softening the front, trying to find that balance. The yin to the yang, sun to the moon, warm to the cool. 2 more breaths. And then releasing if you've got that hand on the knees, allowing the knees to come back up to center. Uncrossing and preparing to move on to the other side. This time left knee on top of right. Just feel the body centered. Before we drop the knees, this time to the right side, turn to look to the left. Right hand can be added to the knee for a little extra leverage. Being soft here, we're not over pushing or over twisting. And then releasing the hands if you've got them, drawing the knees back up to center. And we'll just bring ourselves into our final posture before Shavasana, which is Happy Baby. So we've got the knees slightly apart. We've got the soles of the feet up towards the ceiling, elbows on the inside edges of the knees, and we'll take hold of the outer edges of the feet. So just a little rock and roll here. Move any way that feels good. The mat can provide a little massage on the spine. We've worked that spine every which way today. And our hips. So this is a great ending pose for us. We're still opening those hips a little. Just rolling around. It's called Happy Baby because you can laugh if you want to, smile if you want to. And then when you're ready, just bringing yourself down, ready for Shavasana. So we want to just get ourselves settled on our mat. Ensure that the body is centered, that the legs are slightly apart, ankles rolling outwards. Check that the shoulder blades are flat against the mat, arms slightly away from the body and palms facing upwards. Just roll that head from side to side and allow the neck to rest in a comfortable centered position. And if they're not already, just gently closing down the eyes. Feeling the body start to become heavy here. Feeling yourself drawing downwards. Sensation that you're becoming heavy as you let go of any tension anywhere in the body. And as I say a part of the body, I want you to mentally release any tension that you might have there. Beginning with the right hand thumb, right hand index finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, palm of the right hand, back of the hand, the lower arm, the upper arm, the armpit, the right side waist, right hip, top of the right leg, bottom of the right leg, and the top of the right foot, right big toe, second toe, third, fourth toe, and little toe, the sole of the right foot, the whole right side of the body relaxed and released. The left hand thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, palm of the right hand, left hand, back of the left hand, lower arm, upper arm, armpit, left side waist, left hip, top of the left leg, bottom of the left leg, top of the foot, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth and fifth toe, sole of the left foot, the whole left side of the body relaxed and released. Both heels, the back of the calves, back of the knees and both thighs, both hamstrings, both buttocks, both hips, the lower back, middle back, upper back, both shoulders, the back of the neck, back of the head, top of the head, and the forehead completely relaxed. Both eyebrows, eyelids, the nose, the cheeks, both ears, top of the lip, the bottom lip, the teeth and the tongue, the jaw relaxed, chin, front of the throat, the whole of the chest, the belly, and the whole of the pelvic area. The whole body is relaxed, it's released, it's free and surrendered. Feeling the whole of the body relaxed here on the mat. If you'd like an extra deep, long relaxation, feel free to stay here. Otherwise, we'll start to deepen the breath. Start to become aware of the breath. Start to remember and become aware of the body lying here on the mat. Gently wriggling fingers and toes as we start to bring physical movement back into the moment. And then giving yourself a little stretch any way that feels good. Starting to reawaken the body. Knees can come into the chest. A little hug if they need that. A little rock from side to side if that feels good. And then just dropping to one side for a moment. Just a little rest here. And when you're ready, just slowly bringing yourself back up to a seated position. This time we'll bring the palms face down on the knees as we start to ground ourselves back into the moment. Just gently closing down the eyes. A final check-in with how you're feeling physically, even mentally. Is there any change from when we started class? And finally, on an emotional level, any shift in emotions? And then we'll bring the hands together in prayer position, keeping the eyes closed down. Just closing off our theme around combination of strengthening and softening. The final quote is, "We are allowed to be soft and strong and fierce yet fragile. There is magic in our ability to bend without breaking and to rise above without falling. We have always been more than enough. Not too much and not too little, but just enough." So just taking an attitude of that strength but softness into your weekend ahead. We'll close with one round of Om. Big breath in. The divine spark in me honors the divine spark